Henry, I don't have a voice.
I know. Our buddy Danny is. I almost called you Danimal Control.
No, that's a listener.
That's right. Danny has got a little cough as I hear it, and a little lack of a voice.
I've got a cough. I've got a mild flu, I think, and I watched a 3-hour movie for the podcast.
Yeah. Well, everybody, welcome to episode 139 of your favorite show, The Franchise. I'm your host, Henry Papali.
I'm Daniel Ehrenberg.
To my north is yeah. So we're doing the big one, folks.
Hank, I'll make you an offer you can't refuse right now. How about a podcast about The Godfather?
Oh man, how can I refuse it? Yeah,
it's a movie not a lot of people talk about, so we thought we'd dip ourselves into the ring. We're gonna.
Yeah, it's been a while since we did something obscure, so we figured, fuck it, man. Let's just
listen. A lot has been written about Pet Sematary too. We've gotta talk about the obscure, undiscovered cult classics.
This is kind of the 2019 hard bodies for us. Yeah.
Many people do say that The Godfather is the hard bodies of the 70s.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know where I heard it, but yeah.
Yeah, baby. That Luca Brasi, that's a hard body.
My dear Godfather.
I love that scene. You know,
that scene's great.
One of the things about The Godfather, I say this time and again on the show, I really don't think you can make a great movie without it being funny.
Oh, very, very, yeah, sure. There are quite a few funny moments in this
film. The Godfather's very funny.
Oh, fucking A, it is. You got Clemenza, you got Sonny with the lines, you got, oh yeah.
Henry,
definitely.
What if I don't give this movie a 5?
I mean, we'll probably have to reconsider our star chart, maybe develop a different type of fan base, and maybe reevaluate our partnership on this show.
Really? It would have that great a repercussion.
I mean, I'm used to you doing this lately, so it wouldn't stun me, but I don't think it's going to happen.
We'll see. So. I'm set on a grade, and we'll see what happens.
I'll tell you what I'm not set on, which will come up, and it's as good a time as any to mention it. For my relationship with this movie, I always kind of flip-flopped around feeling the need, as a lot of people do, to say, 1 is better than 2, 2 is better than 1, that kind of thing. And for a good long while, I was a part 2 guy. And then I had flipped back for several years to 1 being the best one.
Yeah.
So I want to wait to see what, right now, I was in my 1 is the best mode.
Yeah, I kind of want to wait to really make a definitive statement about that. But I've always been a 1 is the best guy.
Yeah.
I
am too right now. Yeah.
Although I will tell you something interesting about this movie. My relationship to the movie anyway is that I have a hard time separating them in my head. And I'll tell you why. Okay.
I can actually understand that.
Before I ever saw The Godfather, Henry, I had an issue of Mad Magazine that was devoted to The Godfather. All the comic strips were a parody of... It must have come out right around the time Godfather 3 came out.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And so they did a parody issue of all the Godfather movies, all 3 of them. And I read that more than once, because when you're a kid, anything you own, you just read 100 times.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, if you're a smart kid. I mean, kids today don't fucking read.
Right.
Kids today.
But what's this?
Yeah. But anyway, I read the fuck out of that issue of Mad Magazine. And then the first time I saw The Godfather, it was The Godfather Saga.
Oh, when they melded them all together?
Yeah, they edited it.
They did that long ago?
They did that in like 1978. Henry.
Oh, that's what you're referring to. I'm sorry. I thought you were referring to this recent trend that AMC does where they view them chronologically.
I don't know about that shit. But
I know what you're talking about.
There was the Godfather saga where they edited the first two together as like one giant miniseries. It was around the time of like Roots got big, so it was popular to have miniseries.
Right.
And so it was one summer, and my mother was getting her master's or something. So I was home with my dad a lot, and we were in this cabin upstate New York that my family used to have.
Yes, you've mentioned the cabin.
We sold it to pay for my sister's college, and then that's 100% true. And then so. My dad didn't know what to do with me, so there was this like general store nearby. All right.
Wow, we're really out in the general store.
I'm telling you, it was legit a general store.
Was it called Needful Things?
It might have been in like a trailer.
Sure.
It was right near, I want to say, Delmonico's, which is like that restaurant that like Woodstock was born out of.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
But you're out in the boonies, man.
Yeah. It's way middle of nowhere. Yeah, like another movie that came out in 1972.
That's right.
Yeah. And so my dad, they had a little video section on one wall of this general store to rent movies.
Yeah.
And, they had like literally 10 movies.
Yeah.
That was the section. And my dad rented the Godfather saga and the movie Mazes and Monsters, which was a TV movie at the time about Dungeons and Dragons with Tom Hanks before he was famous.
Jesus.
All right. And so, I watched them. And so that was the first time I saw The Godfather. And what was weird about watching it is I knew every beat of the story by heart before even watching the movie because of that Mad magazine.
My God. Wow, that is weird.
Yeah.
That is weird.
And so I've never really had a pure experience watching The Godfather.
Right.
I've always known everything that's going to happen.
That's funny. Well, we both kind of have strange relationships with the movie then, because this was one of those movies that I came to quite late in life. And I think the primary reason for that might be because I am half Italian, and that side of my family is very strong. They're all 100% Italian. And, growing up with my dad is a pretty cultured gent, as you know my dad. And,
sure.
And he just always, I think, has not, and still is to this day, has resented and just cannot handle or like and movies that because this
but
was,
I mean it's not an uncultured thing to like The Godfather.
No, that's not what I was saying. That's not what I was getting to. What I was getting to was I think, and I shouldn't really be speaking for him, but I'm pretty sure I know his opinion on it. I think that it bothered him that The Godfather set such a precedent for popular culture's ideas.
Well, I think that's right. Look, The Godfather, you can trace a straight line from The Godfather to that movie Gotti that came out this past year.
Yeah, so it's like for him,
Henry, I think would make your father die.
I imagine it would make all of us die.
Yeah.
But I think for him, it was just this awful misrepresentation that was, that took the zeitgeist so strongly that it really lasted, and it was just very powerful. So he didn't want any parts of that. And so I think just in regular discussions growing up as a kid and being around my Italian families, the five families,
sure, the five families, the Papalis,
yeah. I think I was biased, and so therefore I didn't want to ever watch them, and I was just like, and cultured. I just meant that I said I didn't mean that you wouldn't be cultured if you watch it. I think all I meant was for him it was just a very simplistic thing that took hold of the country and really just did a number on Italian Americans, like many other movies have done to other cultures.
Sure, I know, but like as a Jewish guy, like that would mean like I can't watch Annie Hall.
Stereotypes abound, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, right. But I think with him, it was just a deeper thing going on there with it, and just didn't have any interest, and so it just affected me. I was like a lot of kids.
Yeah, I mean, I know that you have this weird thing about your Italian heritage. Haven't you never seen The Sopranos?
That's true.
Yeah, which is another weird thing.
Well, here's the thing. So then I was going to just quickly explain my thing with it. Essentially, I don't think I really saw The Godfather till I was about 19, which is really crazy because that was
the year I was born.
Yeah, which is really crazy because I had already begun watching all the foreign films and all that stuff when I was a teenager. So, and I just still was just like not interested, which was so stupid on my part and for me. And so when I was in college, I finally watched it. And I was, of course, spellbound by it, by both parts. And I think that the difference for me is just that I'm first of all, I'm just a movie guy. I'm far more into movies than my dad is. And the other thing is I just more easily separate the fact that it's a work of fiction and I know the truths and stuff. So you just can kind of separate that stuff. And so for me, I was able to just detach. Now with The Sopranos, the big difference for me is that I did watch some of The Sopranos when it first aired. And the thing with The Godfather is it's a work of art.
So is The Sopranos.
Yeah, okay. Well, with The Sopranos, for me, it was just sort of like Joey the fucking pizza guy, and it had been done. It was just over the top.
I think that in 2019, The Sopranos has been canonized as one of the great works of television of all time. I think you could revisit that show.
I mean, it's entirely possible, but it's bizarre that I have no desire. It's not even one like I avoided The Godfather, but I really don't. I just don't have a desire. I don't know. Henry, there's so many other good things, and The Sopranos ain't no Godfather, man. Come on.
No, of course not. I agree with that. But it's also a totally different thing.
Right, but like I just don't have. I can separate that shit. I mean, Goodfellas, Casino, Scorsese, what he did. All the two of the greatest Italian American filmmakers of all time pretty much made their careers.
Coppola wasn't born in Italy.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't think so. I thought he was from like the Bronx.
I think he might have grown up here, but I think he may have.
But you know what I mean. I meant Antonioni, Fellini.
Oh, yeah. I meant No, of course.
Americanized Italians. And so I think that, well, anyway, now you got me curious because I'm looking up where Coppola.
All right. Well, in the meantime, Henry.
He's from Detroit.
Detroit, Italy?
Yeah.
We ranked every Francis Ford Coppola movie.
Your list will be longer than mine.
How many movies are on your list?
11.
Oh, I have 16.
16?
Yeah.
Jeez. I didn't even think I missed that many. I thought you'd have like 2 or 3 more than me.
I have never seen any of his like early shit. And I've never seen The Cotton Club for some reason.
Right.
And I've never seen that movie Twixt. Remember?
Oh, yeah, me neither. Yeah.
Really? I hear a lot of debate about which part of Twixt is better, the left or the right.
That's very funny.
Thank you.
I just got that.
Yeah.
That's good. All right.
Gotta
go left.
Yeah, same. All right. All right, so this
is a weird list to make, I got to tell you.
Listen.
Strange
if you
filmmaker.
Everybody in the world should have the same top 4, and if you don't, You're fucking stupid. You're a contrarian piece of shit, and get out of my house. But look, everything else is fair game. No, I'm not saying the top four in order, but like,
no, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want to spoil whether I'm a contrarian or not yet.
Oh my
but I know
God,
exactly.
You fucking better not be. I'll kill you.
Okay. I'm excited.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you go ahead. This is the rankings of Francis Ford Coppola, pre-reviewing of Godfather 2 and 3, I should say, but that would be a pretty
And this
adjustment.
is a guy who, boy, he just went off the rails, man. This was a guy who had dreams of of being a big producer. He wanted to start his own studio. It almost, when like Spielberg and Katzenberg and Geffen started DreamWorks, and like when they first announced it, they said there was going to be like a movie studio and a music department. We were going to make TV studio. We're going to have a whole lot in Hollywood. And then like a lot of that shit never went down.
Right.
I've Coppola planned to do the same thing with fucking Zoetrope, and he just ruined it.
I feel like Coppola just had trouble in general with almost a deliberate indecision of what he was from what I've ever gathered and read and watched, indecisive on his subject matter. And if he committed to something he believed in, great. But I almost feel like his dreams were a little too big. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but then after they were real big, they got mad small, dude. Like after one from the Heart tanked, he was like, "I'm only going to make SE into novels."
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Number 16, the worst Coppola movie by far. Not by far. He's made a lot of shit, but this one's real bad. It's Jack.
Okay, that makes sense. Never saw it. Never
okay.
Will.
Oh my God, Henry, you should see that. That movie's a laugh and a half,
dude. I can't. I'm sure it's everything I think it is.
It's dynamite stuff. Number 15, Henry. It's not really a movie, but I wanted to stick it in here just to remind you he directed it, and that is, of course, Michael Jackson's Captain EO.
The fuck out of here. Doesn't count. Jesus Christ.
Number 14, one of his more modern pieces of shit. The unwatchable piece of crap, Youth Without Youth.
I hadn't seen that, and I was looking it up last night. I was honestly so... I didn't even know if I had seen it. I was like, did I see this? No, I hadn't. That's Tim Roth, right?
Is he in that? I don't even fucking remember.
It was real bad, huh?
Yeah. Number 13, Henry. The movie that killed Francis Ford Coppola's career and so many others. One from the Heart.
Never saw it.
Oh, it's a treasure. It's a treasure. It's one of those movies you kind of have to appreciate the ambition, but almost nothing works.
Right.
All right. Where do you come into this?
11.
All right. My number 12, another one of his later movies. We're getting marginally better here.
Yeah, you still haven't named anything on my list, so I'm happy. That means we're going to be in sync for some of this.
Okay, good. Yeah. Number 12, I believe you've seen and like more than I did. And that I was done with Coppola by this point, but I am a Vincent Gallo fan. So I decided I would sit through Tetro.
I like that a lot, actually. Yeah, I like Tetro a lot. All right, number 11, and in my rankings, this for me of the things I have seen of Francis Ford Coppola, it's the worst thing that he's ever done that I've seen, and that would be his segment in New York Stories.
Okay, now I understand this. Now I just want to say I have New York Stories higher, and it's because I was judging it as a complete movie.
I can't really do that, right? I mean, you can't. I mean, Scorsese's is awesome. Woody Allen's is light but funny.
That's the thing. So I have New York Story significantly higher. If I'm judging it specifically on Coppola's segment,
that's what I did.
It might be worse than Captain EO, better than Jack.
Well, yeah, I mean, I saw no other way to really do it.
Yeah,
'Cause it's
what
completely
is he
segmented.
fucking doing, man?
I don't know, man. That is a disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
My number 11 is a movie I watched in 2018 and remembered it being pretty solid, and it is not. And that is a movie that fucking sucks called The Outsiders.
I never saw it.
That's insane.
It is insane. I agree. There were two on his list that I hadn't seen that I was very surprised. I don't know why I hadn't seen it. I don't know. I never saw The Outsiders. So it sucks.
The Outsiders comes from like that genre of movies that still exists today, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
That is like nostalgia for like the 50s, and it's like a group of street toughs, but they sing in like a barbershop quartet or something.
Oh, for fuck's
and
sake.
and like they have a real fun time. They wear funny hats and chains, and sometimes they get in rumbles. And
I don't know. Some of these fucking guys, like, Woody Allen and Scorsese pull it off, but like people like
Woody
Coppola,
Allen doesn't really do it.
when he's referenced the 1950s.
Well, but Woody Allen never does anything like this. Is a cartoon. This is a vision of the 1950s that never really existed, and many filmmakers have fallen prey to it. If you've ever seen The Lords of Flatbush, it's fucking like that.
Right.
Whatever. Happy Days,
Well,
but also, going all the way up to like, I feel like I've never seen it, but this has to be what that fucking Jersey Boys is like.
Oh God. Yeah, I hate that decade. I don't like much from it in any form at all.
Yeah.
The 50s.
It's the fucking it is the film equivalent of a Sha-Na-Na song.
The Outsiders or the 50s as a decade?
No, just that genre of film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, like, I also always hated American Graffiti. Like, I'm just not into that fucking
American Graffiti is totally like that, too. A little bit better.
Yeah.
By the way, a movie that Francis Ford Coppola produced.
I knew he had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and Lukai.
Yeah, they're buds.
All right.
What's your number 10?
Number 10, I saw this in the theater, and I remember when I saw it, it was like a big deal because he hadn't made a movie in like 5 years. And I have never seen it since. No impression on me. Washed away like the Rainmaker.
Oh.
Guess it ain't bad, but
no, that's all right.
Who could care?
Who could care? You're right. The thing about the Rainmaker was it was like Damon, like at the height of his like, it was like, who's this guy?
Right.
Yeah.
Fresh off of Goodwill.
No, it's pre-Goodwill.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Same year.
Miramax had bought the Goodwill Hunting script, and then when old Harvey found out that Damon had been cast in the new Coppola movie, the second he found that out, he greenlit Goodwill Hunting.
I did not know that.
Yep.
Okay.
Because Damon and Affleck were like holding out to like be in it.
Right. I did know that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I didn't know. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So my number 10 is The Godfather 3.
Okay, that's my number 9.
Okay, my number 9 is The Rainmaker.
Wow. Yeah, I knew this would be tight. Number 8 was a movie I thought was fucking hilarious as a teenager, containing one of my favorite, you don't know this actually, one of my favorite Nicolas Cage performances, and that is Peggy Sue Got Married.
Henry?
Yeah.
My number 8 is Peggy Sue Got Married.
Wow.
We are simpatico on
Jesus,
Francis
man.
Ford.
Jesus Christ. I really wouldn't have predicted this.
Me neither.
All right. This is different, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It's my number 7, and that is Tetro.
Okay, right. And my number 7 is New York Stories as an entire film.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
My number 6, a movie I don't think I ever watched until maybe I was living in New York and saw it for some reason. Just decided to take a chance, and I really, really liked it. And that is The Cotton Club.
Yep. Still never seen it. What, Richard Gere in that?
Yeah. Gearing it up. Diane Lane, a young Diane Lane.
Ooh, who could turn down a young Diane Lane?
Not me.
No. My number 6 is the better of his S.E. Hinton movies, Rumblefish.
That's the other one I haven't seen that I probably should have. But you don't like that much. Well, it's 6 on your list.
Yeah, Drumfish is pretty solid.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Heavy hitters.
No, number 4 is the heavy hitters.
So we wait.
I think we should wait for 4.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's hysterical. Then that must mean that we have the same number.
I bet you we do.
Would that be Bram Stoker's Dracula?
That would be Bram Stoker's Dracula.
That's funny, man. You know, I was thinking about that, and, you know, it's an extraordinarily flawed movie, but it's got some really awesome things in it.
It's very 90s. Everything's cool looking, pretty gothy.
True.
It's, very,
very
you got
true.
Winona Ryder farting around. It's a good one.
No, it's very, very true. But it's a cool looking movie.
It's totally cool. Vibe. It was spooky when I was a kid, and I think I read the book because of that movie.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, so now I guess would be the time.
Yes.
Heavy hitters. These are the grand slams, the slap shots, the three-pointers, the touchdowns, the curling when the puck gets close to the circle. These are the heavy hitters of the franchise. Heavy hitters.
Yeah. Now, you might think, having listed all of those mediocre movies, what's the big deal with this guy? But how about these?
Yeah, and now I predict our 4.
Our roads are going to diverge right now.
Yeah, I think they're going to be totally different.
Yeah. Well, I already know. What's your number 4?
But these are all masterpieces.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Number 4 is The Conversation.
Okay. I knew you were going to put that at number 4. My number 4 is Apocalypse Now.
I fucking knew you were going to do that. All right. Number 3, The Godfather Part 2.
Okay. My number 3 is The Conversation.
All right. The number 2 Coppola movie for me is The Godfather.
You love Apocalypse Now. Goddamn. My number 2.
My top 5 favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. It's your favorite non-Stanley Kubrick movie, I think.
That's right. That's correct.
Yeah. My number 2 is The Godfather Part 2.
All right, and the number 1 movie for me, as previously stated, Apocalypse Now.
And I'll go the old G-Father.
G-Father 1.
Yeah, G-Father 1.
Yeah, and I got lucky. I got to see Apocalypse Now on a 1997 re-release in theaters, and then I saw Redux in theaters. I'm a pretty big fucking fan. I own the Blu-ray with like the fucking 6 discs and shit.
Damn, yeah.
I love that.
I have that Blu-ray too, but I haven't really dug into it.
Oh, you have like the whole shebang.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to get in that shit, man.
Okay, Godfather is directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and the writing credits go to Coppola and Mario Puzo, though Robert Towner was writing on set.
Wow, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I'm sure I knew it, but
because this was a movie like they didn't have a finished script. It was like in production, and so they took some pages from Robert Towne, and so this movie comes out March 24th, 1972. By the way, March release.
Yeah, well, I mean they didn't
know what they had.
Expectations.
Yeah. And a budget of $6.5 million, and it made $286 million, and was the number 1 movie of 1972.
And up to that point of all time, right? Grossing.
Lucrative
movie of all time.
Maybe.
I think it was until Jaws.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was the most profitable movie ever made to that point.
Yeah, I have the top 10 box office of 1972. You interested?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any guesses?
Boy. Well, I have a top 10, of my own, but I'd be very surprised if. Okay, yeah, I'll take one guess.
Okay.
This has to be in the top 10 of 72. Poseidon Adventure?
Yeah, that's number 2.
Knew it. Yeah. There's no way anything like Deliverance, right? That's
Yeah, no, Deliverance is here. That's it.
Boy,
No,
we were a cultured group back then. My.
well, we'll get to that. Deliverance is number 5.
Okay, The Getaway?
Yeah, that's number 7.
Jesus, I'm nailing this.
Yeah.
Frenzy?
No, come on.
I'm done.
Number 10 was Jeremiah Johnson.
Oh, I almost said that.
Yeah, number 9 is The Legend of Boggy Creek, Henry.
Fuck is that?
I don't know. Number 8 is Fritz the Cat, interestingly.
Okay.
Yeah, with some pornographic cartoons. And number 7 is The Getaway. Number 6 is Cabaret, my friend.
Oh, never saw it.
Number 5 was Deliverance. Now, here's what I want to talk about.
oh, wait. Can I guess?
Yeah.
It just popped into my head. Deep Throat?
No, though that did come out this year. Okay. It's a film called Behind the Green Door.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay, the number 4 biggest box office of the year, made $50 million. Okay?
All right.
Now, this movie is a straight up porno.
Oh, so I wasn't far
No,
off. With
you were right on. But this is just a flat out porno movie that America made the 4th highest grossing movie of the year. What was happening?
Well, Nixon. People wanted to escape.
I'd like to read you, Henry, the full plot summary as it appears on Wikipedia.
Let's hear it.
A wealthy San Francisco socialite, Gloria Saunders, played by Marilyn Chambers, who was in one of the first pornos I ever saw, Marilyn Stark Chambers.
Me too.
Is taken against Marilyn. Do you remember the first porno you ever saw?
No.
I don't remember the first one I ever saw, but I remember that the first one I ejaculated to without touching myself was called Magnum. It was called Magnum Love, and it was about it was a detective story, and the detective was Peter Magnum, and it was an interesting mystery. And I watched it nude in a beanbag chair at the age of 11, and ejaculated without anything manual.
You're a disgusting human being.
Okay. Bet you didn't expect this from the Godfather episode.
That's great.
Okay, so Behind the Green Door, Henry. A wealthy San Francisco socialite, Gloria Saunders, is taken against her will to an elite North Beach sex club and loved, quote, as she's never been loved before.
Oh.
There, she engages in lesbian sex with a group of 6 women, for some reason all dressed in black, before being brought out wearing a white dress on stage through the green door. A lot of color imagery in this film.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
The silent, largely masked audience become increasingly aroused. I wonder how they show that. As her white dress is removed and she is stroked, kissed, and given cunnilingus by the women.
Is this movie streaming on Tubi or Netflix?
It would be Tubi. Maybe Spank Bang. Her first heterosexual sex is with the African-American boxer Johnny Keys, accompanied by a funk soundtrack.
Oh, I fucking bet it was.
Okay? Over 45 minutes, he gives her more cunnilingus, and then they have sexual intercourse while Gloria continues to be stroked by the other women. When she has an orgasm, the sex stops, and he is not shown to ejaculate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? A very forward-thinking film.
Right.
Gloria then mounts a trapeze contraption suspended from the ceiling and then engages in vaginal intercourse with one man as she performs oral sex on another and masturbates to others. The audience become further aroused and begin having sex with each other in what becomes an orgy. In a psychedelic key sequence, An ejaculation is shown with semen flying through the air for almost 7 minutes. The film features several multicolored, optically printed, slow-motion close-ups of money shots. This is the only ejaculation sequence in the film. The narrator then runs from the audience onto the stage and carries Gloria off through the green door. I don't know who the narrator is. This is the first time we're hearing of him. The film ends with him and Gloria making love alone. This film was released December 17th, 1972, and is the fourth highest grossing movie of 1972.
Honey, you want to go to the movie tonight? Yeah, honey, what's on? I don't know. There's this Jeremiah Johnson. It's got Robert Redford in it. Poseidon Adventure. That's been getting good reviews of Gene Hackman. And then there's
I hear a lot of people go up in that movie. I'd like to see one where people go down.
I don't know. This Behind the Green Door, though, it's playing at the it's where are we? 1972 New York City. It's playing in Times Square.
Yeah, it's at the Rialto.
Oh my God. Wow, dude.
All right.
That was enlightening.
Okay, so that's exciting stuff. Number 3 is What's Up, Doc?
Oh my God.
And by the way, a movie that Peter Bogdanovich turned down The Godfather to make.
Well, I'm glad he did.
Yeah. Number 2 is The Poseidon Adventure. Number 1's The Godfather. So here's a short history of The Godfather, Henry. Maybe you'll be informed about some things.
I know a lot about it, but there's a shit ton to know, so go for it.
Paramount Pictures purchased the rights to The Godfather for $80,000 when it was still a galley printing. It was published in 1969. Mario Puzo accepted this offer in order to pay off gambling debts.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The film was first offered to Sergio Leone, who turned it down to work on Once Upon a Time in America, a movie he didn't finish until 1984.
Jesus Christ.
Holy fuck, man.
Wow.
Okay. Then Bogdanovich was offered it. He turned it down. Coppola was the 13th choice.
I didn't know that.
And
wow.
He only took it. He didn't want to direct it. He thought it was some bullshit mob story.
Right.
And he only accepted the job because he produced THX 1138 for George Lucas.
One of my favorite movies.
And he lost a ton of money on it.
Oh, wow.
Hey!
Do we have conversation on Coppola and Lucas discussing that deal?
I'm sorry you gotta make a mob movie just because my space epic lost money.
The thing is, George, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's about the vision, George. And so the vision is what came through. And that's what I want to achieve with this fucking picture. That's what I want to fucking achieve, George.
But does it have any robots?
It's not going to have robots, but we will have Marlon reading up cue cards off other actors' heads.
Are you sure you want Marlon?
I won't.
I've got this guy, movie. Donald Pleasance, you might want to take a look at.
Listen, Marlon, I'll look at other people just to satisfy the studio, but I want Marlon. He's due. He's due for a comeback.
I can't do the voice. My voice hurts.
You weren't doing a voice, Dan. It was archival footage.
Oh, is that all we have?
It was short.
Oh, okay.
It was not a lot, but with those guys.
It's still pretty interesting.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
Nice to hear Lucas has Donald Pleasance's back.
It is. That was cool. And I didn't know Francis swore that much. I guess he does. I've seen him in interviews. He likes to swear when he's feeling free.
Sure. He's drunk all the time on that that shitty wine that he owns.
I used to buy that when I had like more than $2 in my pocket
in
New York.
Okay. So Coppola immediately fell behind budget and schedule because that's what he does.
Right.
And Robert Evans, the producer of The Godfather, really wanted to replace him with Elia Kazan.
Oh, boy.
But Coppola got his shit together and they started casting. And apparently, the studio favored for the Al Pacino role. What, Sonny? Is that his name? Here's something you'll learn about me. I don't know Godfather character names.
I'll help you out with that.
Thanks.
Yeah. There was a lot of people they wanted to be Michael Corleone. Among them,
the top 3 choices were Warren Beatty, Robert Redford, and of course the great Ryan O'Neal.
All very Italian actors.
Blonde hair,
and you know
blue
what?
eyes.
I gotta give Coppola that. I mean, besides everything else you got to give him for this movie, the fact that that's, of course, how Hollywood worked back in the day. It still does, very much so, actually. What am I talking about?
Starting to be less so, because now we're in the age where Bryan Cranston gets shit for playing a wheelchair guy.
Yeah, I know. But what I mean is, like, you know, that was, when you think about it, pretty fucking bold of Coppola to, like, just insist that it was an Italian American playing this character. I mean, that was definitely a role that I could have easily seen going to, like, fucking Robert Redford or something. You know, who cares? Nobody can tell. It doesn't matter. We'll dye his hair black, or if that.
Yeah,
and
we'll cast the Great Gatsby as Michael Corleone.
Yeah, Barry Lyndon will be.
Yeah. So James Caan, of course, also auditioned for that role, and then they liked him, so he got a different role.
He got Sonny.
He sure did, Hank. This movie, a lot of accolades. It is currently in the National Film Registry. I think you could have assumed that. How about some Golden Globes?
I think we got a few things that are going to be coming up here, right?
Yeah, we get ready with those themes.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So this, all right.
Certainly the Golden Raspberries theme, the MTV Movie Awards. Okay.
The Golden Globes. It's the Hollywood foreign press, mostly French.
That's right. So the body of voters that think the 2 best movies that came out in 2018 are Green Book and Bohemian Rhapsody had some opinions on The Godfather. And so Marlon Brando won Best Actor in a Drama, an award for which Al Pacino was also nominated. You're thinking of the Oscars.
You're right. You already knew what I was going to say.
Yeah.
He was pissed.
Yeah. The Godfather won Best Drama. Okay.
All right.
Francis Ford Coppola won Best Director.
Okay.
Nino Rota won Best Score.
Deservedly so.
Yeah. Coppola and Puzo won Screenplay.
Wow.
And the only award it was nominated for that it lost that fateful night was Best Supporting Actor, which James Caan lost to Joel Grey for playing the
Cabaret.
Yeah, what was he, like, what do they call it? The ringmaster, the MC?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's great in that movie, by the way.
I never saw it. I'm traumatized by that movie because this has come up on the show before. When I was an usher, that show came to the Symphony Hall I worked
I remember
and
that.
had to watch it about 16 times.
Speaking of that, Henry, did you watch Rent live?
Well, you know, I saw it when I worked.
Yeah, I know. That's why I bring it up.
Oh, yeah. That's how it's come up.
No,
on the
I
show
mean
before.
the Fox. They just did the live.
No. Yeah, I heard. Are you fucking kidding me? I'd watch Cabaret 100 more times than watch Rent once.
But it's so important, bro.
It is.
It really changed the world. It's about I feel like I'm not the first person to have this opinion, but that is a whole fucking show asking you to have sympathy for a bunch of people that refuse to pay their rent. The one dude's working on the play takes place over the course of like a year and a half. The one dude is like writing one song that whole time. He's working on a single piece of music.
One song?
Yeah. And then, like, everybody else has AIDS, and none of them have jobs. They should get evicted.
Right.
The movie should end with them moving to Coney Island and being those kids, you see, the homeless kids at Coney Island with the dogs.
They should turn into a mid-2000s James Franco, before he got famous, Robert De Niro, Frances McDormand film, about some addict wandering around on a Coney Island boardwalk.
Yeah, that's dynamite.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that play sucks. And this version in particular was terrible.
And I wouldn't say Cabaret was garbage. It was
no
actually
Cabaret. The movie Cabaret is great.
Yeah, but the Rent is fucking garbage.
Yeah, agreed. Right. Yeah. Oscars, Henry.
Fuck, man. That. Do something else first. Didn't it have some AFIs?
No, we'll get there. That's down the line. Let's just say.
No, we're not just gonna say
fuck
it.
Fuck you, man.
Very important. It's been a while, and this is an important movie, and it needs to be given its due. Here we go. See, it wasn't that bad. Let's just hope there's not an ad playing first.
There's gonna be.
Oh, it's just a TurboTax ad.
Guaranteed. Get the app now.
Ooh. Oh. I'll tell you what, The Godfather won Best Picture. But I'm sorry, Francis Ford Coppola, you're not the best director. Bob Fosse is for Cabaret.
Oh.
All right. Now, hey, James Caan, Robert Duvall, and Al Pacino, I know you're all nominated for Best Supporting Actor, but I'm so sorry. Joel Grey is better than all of you. Okay? Now, I know the costumes are great in this film, but that award was lost to a movie I've never heard of called Travels with My Aunt. That's right, Travels with My Aunt. Had great costumes. All right, best sound. Sorry, Cabaret. It had music in it, so it has to win a sound award. All right, there were no war movies that year.
The theme was so long it could have kept going. Do I need to keep playing?
No, it's fine. It also lost best editing to Cabaret.
Wow.
So far not doing so well, but it did win Best Picture. Marlon Brando, of course, won Best Actor, for which he sent a Native American to accept because he's amazing.
Yeah.
And Pacino didn't show up to the Oscars because he was mad he was nominated for Supporting Actor and not Actor. Even though he's barely in the first 45 minutes of this movie and disappears for a large segment near the middle.
Boy, the hubris back then, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And although Brando shouldn't be nominated for a lead either, there's no real lead in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, Michael's as much of a lead in it as Brando, but I mean, to be that pissed off, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, I think I got through them all. So it only really won 2 Oscars. Oh, no, it won screenplay also.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go.
Wow.
The Golden Globes were ahead of the curve on this one.
Oh, for sure. For sure they were.
All right, we've got a whole load of AFI lists, Henry.
Oh, I'm excited. Here we go.
AFI.
I love after the Oscars theme how that sounds. All right, so of course in 1998 the American Film Institute ranked the 100 best movies of all time, and Godfather was number 3. Yeah.
Citizen Kane being number 1?
Yeah, and Casablanca number 2.
Oh, I just guessed that, but yeah, I guess they're safe guesses.
Yeah.
Was it on any BAFTA lists?
Yeah, we don't do that. We do the
yes, we do.
We don't do the BFI. BFI lists, Henry, are only for British films.
Yeah, but we do them.
Yeah, but so this is not nominated for any of those.
Well, it should be. I wanted to hear that theme, but that's okay.
You can play it.
I am nominating The Godfather for Best Picture of 1972 on behalf of the British Film Institute.
And the British Film Institute.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right.
They're different, actually. That's different than the BAFTA.
Yeah.
I always forget that. Yeah.
So, at number 3, best movie. But then when they revised the list in 2008, Henry, it had moved up one.
Ooh.
Now Godfather's number 2 best movie ever.
They bumped Casablanca.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, even though they think it's the number 2 best movie of all time, they ranked it the number 11 most thrilling movie of all time. Yeah. I'll give him an offer he can't refuse as the number 2 best quote of all time.
Which is said in the movie multiple times.
Yeah, it really is a catchphrase.
Yeah.
Nino Rota's score was number 5 best score of all time. You'll notice that was not nominated for an Oscar because of a weird issue. Like,
yes, I remember reading this.
This was the reason Johnny Greenwood wasn't nominated for There Will Be Blood, because he used like a little snatch of score from like a short film he had scored, like that no one ever saw. And Nino Rota did something similar. Like he used a little teeny bit of like something he wrote years before, and so it was ineligible.
Bullshit.
Yeah, total bullshit. And of course, The Godfather was named by the AFI the number 1 best gangster movie of all time.
That's possibly debatable.
Bold move,
right? Yeah. Well, it's not bold at all, right? But that's kind of debatable. Because you could have Goodfellas there, too, for best gangster movie.
Nah, no, you can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever you say. Before we move on to the movie.
Oh, God. Are we ever going to talk about this movie?
I don't write the show. I just help host it.
Okay, what are we going to rank the 1972 top 10?
Well, yeah, but I also wanted to ask, did Gordon Willis not get any nominations either? Or
for cinematography?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
One of the greatest looking movies.
I know.
Period.
I know.
Period. And one of the greatest. What is he? What do they call him? The Master of Darkness, right?
Do they?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, because Woody used him too for Manhattan.
Oh, for everything. Gordon Willis did everything from Manhattan all the way through like. I want to say like Radio Days or something. Like he worked with Woody Allen on everything, like maybe 12 or 13 movies.
I don't know if he did Annie Hall, but he might have. He very well might have actually. But anyway,
if Manhattan was his first, he wouldn't have done Annie Hall. But I don't know for sure.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know where you got that.
I don't know, Henry.
Okay, let's do it, and then we'll talk about this movie.
Okay, I just want to look up real quick what did win cinematography.
Now, there were a lot of very beautiful-looking movies that year. Some of them are on my list, but come on.
So what the Oscars went with was Cabaret.
Jesus Christ.
Also nominated, by the way, are The Poseidon Adventure.
It's a good-looking movie.
1776, one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I've seen the musical.
Yeah, that movie.
Yeah.
And
no, but not the movie.
And the aforementioned Travels with My Aunt, getting another big nom.
Put that on the queue.
That's a Maggie Smith film.
Maggie Smith.
By George Cukor.
George Cukor. Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah, but that's all right.
Hey, Lou Gossett Jr.'s in it. Okay, so...
Firebox.
Top 10 of 1972, Henry. Let's do it.
Honorable mention. 1. Everything you always wanted to know about sex but were afraid to ask.
Okay, my honorables are Cabaret, Fritz the Cat, and Last House on the Left.
Last House on the Left, I despise.
I know, we've talked about it.
But I've seen it, so I was happy that I had seen more on 72. I had enough room that I didn't even have to mention it. All right. Number 10. Saw this movie once, thought it was pretty damn good. The old Steve McQueen, The Getaway.
Okay. My number 10 is Everything You Always Wanted to Know About Sex But Were Afraid to Ask.
All right. Number 9, Jeremiah Johnson.
Okay. Very old Hollywood.
Sidney Pollack.
My number 9 is early Scorsese gang, underrated, and I believe I watched this on Tubi last year. And that is Boxcar Bertha.
Never saw it.
Yeah, real fun.
Yeah. Number 8, a real great political movie that I'd actually like to see again. I only saw it once, but I loved it when I saw it. That's back-to-back here, Redford's for me. That's The Candidate.
Sure. My number 8 is Hitchcock's second-to-last film, I think, Frenzy.
Good choice.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, this movie is just fucking fun. I have loved this movie my whole life. The Poseidon Adventure.
Okay, my number 7. Listen, I know we're not allowed to praise Woody Allen anymore, but fuck it. I'm putting 2 Woody Allen movies on this list.
Oh, obviously.
And I went higher with the one he did not direct, and that is a very, very good movie called Play It Again, Sam.
That's one of my favorite Woody Allen movies.
Yeah.
And that is my number 6.
Oh, okay. My number 6 is Pink Flamingos.
That movie's that old?
Yeah.
Jesus.
John Waters been around a long time, brother.
Wow. All right, I never saw it. I'll save the heavy hitters for time, but these 5 I have here, if you don't think they're heavy hitters, you can go vote.
Oh, these 5 are fucking heavy hitters.
My
bro.
5 are heavy hitters.
My 5 are heavier hitters.
All right, fine. Number 5, my boy Werner Herzog with Aguirre, Wrath of God.
That's my number 5.
Really?
Yeah. And
I saw it in the theater, not when it came out. Old jokes. Yeah.
I watched it while I was waiting for you to get home to do the podcast tonight.
Get out of here!
I swear. When I
because
when I made this list, I was like, I'm due for a rewatch of that.
Yeah, the movie's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
All right, look at that. Number 4. I musically referenced it earlier. Deliverance.
That's my number 4.
No fucking way.
I swear to God.
Wow, same 5 and 4.
All right, 3 will be different.
Yeah, these, I think, yeah. 3 is tied for number 1 as my favorite Alfred Hitchcock movie ever made. Yes, I know it's crazy for a lot of people to say that, but I love Frenzy.
Everybody's got their own pet Hitchcock. That could be yours.
That's mine.
Yeah.
I fucking love that movie. It's hilarious and scary and great and awesome.
My number 3, of course, Henry. You know I had to go there. My old love, Ingmar Bergman.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Cries and whispers.
Yeah, I need to see that. My number 2, which I'm sure isn't even on your list. Clearly, it isn't on your list. I saw this in the theater. Weird year for me to see all the Last Tango in Paris.
I've never seen it.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
That's surprising to me.
Yeah.
That movie is fucking great and contains Brando's
penis.
One of his best performances.
Okay.
I mean, he's not always great.
He is.
He's. I know it's a tough thing to say, but my favorite, along with what we're talking about tonight, is Last Tango in Paris. Yeah.
Okay.
So your number 2 is what?
My number 2 is a really incredible film called Solaris.
I never saw the Tarkovsky. I saw the remake.
You saw the Soderbergh.
yeah, it was pretty bad.
I like that version too, but the Tarkovsky's a real masterpiece.
I guess we have the same number 1.
Well, it's The Godfather. All right,
That's right.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about The Godfather.
All right, so it starts off at this wedding, and I like movies that start at weddings.
Do you?
Yeah, I think it's a good setting. It brings the characters together in a natural way, and it sets some. It's got stakes. It sets some tone. It's a good one, and the deer hunter starts at a wedding too, and I love that sequence also. But The Godfather is the fucking stuff with them going to see.
Oh, it's
Vito in that room, and he's got that real cute cat, which I'm into.
Now that's a fucking cute cat.
It's as cute as
Church.
Yeah.
Church can fuck off and
Get
die
out of
and be
here!
resurrected.
Oh my god! All right. Well, at least you had him resurrected.
Yeah.
So, I love this whole sequence.
The cutting in between is masterful too.
It's
like
great.
the editing, I really paid attention to that.
And there's a lot of real fun, goofy shit too going on outside. There's some There's some dancing. There's a lot of guys just like wearing sweaters, dancing like weirdos.
Yeah.
And I like the singer who later asks for the favor. The sequence where he sings though, where he's
Johnny
just,
Fontaine. Yeah.
what a fucking hack this guy is, and you're supposed to know that, and I think that's great.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really great. It's got like, I love the dynamic in that sequence of Michael and Kay coming to the wedding, and then just like bit by bit, like more nefarious shit keeps kind of surrounding Kay. You know, like she's like, Michael's clearly trying to protect her.
Yeah,
from
well,
anything.
we've all had these conversations where you bring a girlfriend home,
You're right.
and like you have these like little snatches, moments where like someone does something stupid and you lean in like, I'll tell you about that fucking guy.
100%.
Yeah.
That Michael, who's Luca? Who's Luca? I'll tell you about him. No, wait. I'm trying to do my Pacino. 72 Al Pacino.
Yeah, he's more meek.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I can't do it right now, but yeah, he's like, I'll tell you about him in a little bit. And then Fredo comes over, wasted.
Is
He's
Fredo
that's my
John
brother."
Cazale?
Yes, Cazale.
Cazale.
Yeah. You don't do well with Italian names, but that's all right.
No, that's probably
A lot of
true.
people don't. It's one of the most mispronounced.
Of course, John Cazale, for those who don't know, I mean,
Yeah,
everyone knows this. His legend has grown, but he's only in 5 movies, and then he died in all 5 of the best movies ever made.
Yeah,
What are they?
actually,
Godfather 1 and 2, Conversation, Dog Day Afternoon, and Deer Hunter?
Deer Hunter, and there's one more. I think there's a 6th one.
Oh.
That was, yeah, I was reading about this recently. I don't remember what it was, but he's in it, and it was also not.
It would be great if that one was like, Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah, he was dating. He was with Meryl Streep at the time, and he died real young.
Oh my God, that guy fucked Meryl Streep.
They were. I don't know if they were even. They might have. Were they married? I don't know, but they were real. Yeah, she was at his deathbed. And
I
all
bet
that
Meryl
shit.
Streep killed him.
In character.
She's got she's cold-blooded, that Streep. You know there's something behind those eyes.
I helped her out once at the Chelsea store. She was very mean.
Was she? That doesn't surprise me, man.
I don't think I ever told you that, did I?
I don't think you ever did.
Yeah, she was in the classical section. I just went up to her, just trying to be all nonchalant, and just asked her if she needed any help, and she just gave me this fucking stare.
Let me ask you a question. Was it 2005 at the time?
It probably was.
Maybe she was in character. Devil Wears Prada, Hank.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah. She just gave me this cold stare and was just like, I'm fine, thank you. Fuck you, Meryl.
I bet she does have a cold stare, man.
Oh, it was,
She'll turn
man.
your balls to ice. Great actress, though. Great actress.
Great actress. Great actress.
Yeah. Check out our Mamma Mia coverage for more.
Yeah, the best stuff. Yeah, so the wedding is just great, and I love the opening line of the movie, with this Undertaker. That's a great line to me too, which I'll tell you in a second. I'll explain. But when he says, "I believe in America," like that's how the film opens.
Oh, and that's heavy. You're like, all right, Coppola, Jesus, I'm listening.
Right. You got my attention. Yeah, it's true. But I want to talk about just funny throwaways. I love when he tells this terrible thing that happened to his daughter, and he leaves, and Brando says to Tom Hagen, right? Robert Duvall says, "Give this to Clemenza. Nothing too heavy, rough stuff. Despite what this Undertaker wants."
Yeah. Can I have a criticism?
You don't even know that he's an you know what I mean? It just says it's like he's just like this kind of like mocking joke about the guy's profession.
Yeah.
Who he then calls on for a favor later. But yes, go ahead.
Duvall and Khan look too similar.
You think so?
Not like eventually, but like in life. But in this movie, I was like halfway through the Vegas shit before I realized that was Duvall and not Khan.
Get the fuck out of here. What?
Yeah.
You're nuts.
I don't know.
Which means what? You thought it was Sonny doing it, or you just didn't even, you weren't.
Yeah, I
thinking
thought it
like
was
that?
Sonny doing it.
Oh my dude. Have you seen the fucking movie? What is
Yeah,
wrong with you?
I've seen it a few times.
You're nuts. That's Tom Hagen, man. That's the lawyer.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy town. Wow.
I'm sorry, buddy.
I might know this movie better than you.
You
I don't know.
of course do. You 100% do.
Well, I didn't know. Wouldn't have
You
said
know
that.
every movie better than me, Henry.
Which is because of my rewatchability.
Yes.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but what's really, you know what I couldn't help doing, dude, during the movie? I couldn't help it. I think it's because of all I read and all I know about it. Because I was so fascinated by the fact that of the ages of all the guys in the movie, and I think it stemmed from Brando, because I was like, how old is he in this again? Because I know.
Oh, you were just IMDbing dudes.
Yeah, well, I was like, well, no. First of all, I would Wikipedia.
Of course.
Quicker fix. And so Brando is born in 1924, which made him 48 or 47 during filming.
Yeah.
I'm 40.
Yeah, you're getting there.
Yeah. So Brando, they do a really good job.
Yeah, he looks old, and he's got those tissues in his cheeks. That's what I was distracted by the whole time. I was like, where are the tissues?
Right. But then you look at the ages, I'm thinking like his sons, right? So I'm thinking like Pacino's born in 1940. James Caan's born in 1940, which makes Brando 16 years older than them. Robert Duvall is old as fuck, dude.
Of course he is. Because Robert Duvall looks young in this movie, and then like 10 years later, he looks 50 years older.
You're absolutely right. Like you go to Tender Mercies, Robert Duvall, and you're already at the Judge.
Yeah, and by the time of the Apostle, he looks like the fucking Crypt Keeper.
Yeah. Robert Duvall was only 4 years younger than Marlon Brando.
Yeah. Not surprising.
Our favorite right-wing actor, Robert Duvall.
Is he right-wing?
Holy fuck, dude.
I don't think I knew that.
Read about that guy's politics.
He's just broing down with James Woods on the weekends.
Oh, yeah, dude. He's all about the Republican Party. He loves it. Lifelong. Gun guy. Big gun guy.
Yeah, I guess that doesn't surprise me.
Hey, but ironically, in this movie, he's the non-violent one who won't touch guns.
But he chops the head off that horse.
I highly doubted always, and I still think I'm right, that that's him. I think he's got a henchman with him to do that.
Oh, I mean, yeah, probably, but it was his idea.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the things about the movie that's interesting, and I was actually, one of the reasons right before we started recording, it's a good time as ever to talk about it, was when you go on IMDb and read some of the trivia, there was some stuff in there that I didn't know, and some questions I had on every viewing of the movie that I always thought were maybe just intentionally implied and you don't need them spelled out. And you don't, but they were. There were so many apparently deleted scenes in this movie that like go further in explaining like just even plot points. Because it's
that
pretty,
doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I think, in my view, it's a pretty simple movie plot-wise until we get like closer and closer to Michael coming back from Sicily,
which is kind of my least favorite part of the movie. I like it early and simple, and and I'm not surprised there's more to this movie because it is very episodic, and
yes.
And I don't mean that necessarily as a bad thing because there are whole sections of this movie that could have been their own movies.
Very true.
I'd watch a whole movie about Michael in Italy.
I'd watch a whole movie about how Tom Hagen runs the compound.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah, or what Sonny does as a Don.
I wouldn't watch that.
Tell me, I don't even have to ask if you'd watch Fredo hanging around Las Vegas for 2 hours.
Oh my God, dude. That would be the best one.
With Mo Green?
I want Richard Linklater to direct that.
I want Steven Soderbergh.
That would be good too, yeah.
Fredo's 12.
But but anyway, there's a whole bunch of shit like this. Like I forgot that I remember like the Vegas shit being a subplot, but it's not really. It's the main plot of the movie, but just for a little bit. Like after the wedding,
Right.
we're just all right. Now we're gonna spend the next 15 minutes in Vegas with Robert Duvall, and then after the horse head,
In
it's
LA,
like
in
yeah,
Hollywood,
oh in LA, that's what I meant.
Right.
And then it's like back to where does this movie take place, Henry?
New York, I believe, like Long Island or upstate, something like that. I think it's probably like
Yonkers.
Yeah, totally. Probably actually like slightly north of where I used to live for a long time in New York, in the Bronx, because right up above me north were all places like that look like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they reference it a couple times. They don't actually say, but I from all I can glean. But yeah, they do things like, I guess in some of the deleted scenes, like, you know, you never find out the guy that betrays Michael in Sicily, that Fabrizio fella who kills Apollonia, one of the most beautiful women to ever be on a movie screen.
And a really random choice for this movie because
she was a model.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's so interesting. Like, the movie rests on the Michael Kay relationship quite a bit because it ends with that like gut shot of Kay sort of watching Michael become the new Don.
Right.
And, you know, it's fucking weird that there's a whole section of the movie where Michael goes to another country and romances another lady.
Well, that's one of the things that I was going to mention, but real quick.
You know what it's like? You know what it's like? You know when you're watching like a serialized TV show and then you get like one episode where it's like it's like a short story episode. We're just going to like focus on this thing for a while and then like you don't really mention it again in the rest of the series.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to get to that. But like things like Fabrizio, like apparently there was a scene where they get him at the end. They filmed a shot where he's car bombed. And so he dies.
Who
the way
needs it?
Right. Well, he took it out. You know,
good cut. Not as good a cut as Cabaret's editing, but pretty good.
There's a cut where they apparently also show, and this I think I would have appreciated, to be perfectly honest. It gets pretty complicated in the end when Brando is advising Al Pacino about who's going to come at him, when they're going to come at him, if it's Tattaglia or Barzini, and it's going to be Clemenza or Tessio who's going to be. And there was apparently a scene where Pacino just says like one line to Brando and clears up everything. Because like Brando declares at that table of all the Dons, remember, he says, there will not be any violence as long as I am in charge, right? Mm-hmm. So then, of course, the fucking movie ends with a massacre, right? There's one line where apparently Michael says to Vito, not like this, obviously much more literary, but he says, like, I'm planning a massacre. I am going to kill everyone, but it won't be you. You will have kept your word because it is my decision to do this. And so that's kind of interesting to me. Like little things like that. Like, and then, you know, when Brando gets shot.
I love that scene.
It's a phenomenal sequence. But
by the way,
they don't follow it up.
I love that he has a relationship with his grocer.
Yeah, that's great. It's a really little touch.
It's a really sweet little moment that
nice.
Vito has with his grocer. And it shows you the inner life of this fella.
Yeah. He goes into Little Italy for a little bit and gets some but yeah, like, you know, Paulie, the driver.
What is he buying? He's like, I need some mangoes or something.
It's just something odd, right?
Yeah.
I bet you 100% that was Brando making shit up. Like,
what's the weirdest fucking fruit I can ask for?
It's true.
You can hear like Coppola rolling his eyes behind the screen, which is like, just let him say whatever the fuck he wants.
Every different take.
Right. We wrote oranges. He's
Can I get some
apples.
quinoa?
Can I?
I need some ooglies.
Yeah.
Some kiwis. And
that's
some
in the that's in the crossword.
It's a deleted scene. Oogly, you're right. That's where I got it from. You're right.
That's in the
Always
crossword
New York
a lot.
Times all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but anyway, I could go on and on. But I want to tell you this because this is for you, Dan.
I'd love to hear.
This is gonna be your single favorite piece of trivia about this movie that you've ever heard.
Why don't you just talk about the movie? Why are you reading so much trivia?
You'll want to hear this.
Okay, go ahead.
You remember how Sonny is fucking around on his wife, right?
Yeah.
And you remember the shot
of
the
yeah,
wife?
he fucks that girl.
Right. You remember the wife showing like the size of to her girlfriends. She's
yeah,
like, showing
his dick.
Yes. Well, I have to mention that tonight I read that in the book, it is described in detail by Sir Mario Puzo, paisan of mine, that Sonny Corleone has an ungodly large dick.
So Coppola
So
was being very
painful.
faithful.
So painful that he can rarely have sex with his wife.
Oh yeah.
It gets better.
It hits the cervix.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The reason he is banging that particular bridesmaid, and I quote, is because she has a very loose vagina and has it surgically altered in the book to be a form-fitting vagina.
And does Sonny break up with her after that?
I don't know. I didn't read past that because I had to throw up in my mouth a little bit.
You ever experienced that, Henry?
What?
Where like
cervix?
Where like no, I mean like where you're not even touching the sides.
Oh my God, you're just an unbelievable. You're an unbelievable person, Dan. That's what you are. Yeah. Sure. You've been in there, and it's just a lot of. No, I would never experience that because
you're like there's not enough friction.
I'm like Sonny. I'm sort of like Sonny, so I can relate more to his problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're bragging about your dick size.
Well, you're bragging about how tiny yours is.
That's not true.
Anyway, I thought that was amazing. So I was like, this is the fucking book Mario Puzo wrote.
Yeah, the book, is it any good? I've never read it.
I'm never going to read it.
I'll never read it either.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk more about the movie. What else did you like in that? I love the touches about the photographers being at the sequence and Sonny just going out in there and smashing the shit out of their camera.
Yeah, that's really good. I like that quite a bit. The scene where he gets the fucking gun from the bathroom is considered a classic for a reason, and
that's
because
the best scene in the movie.
It probably is. It's so perfectly tense and wonderful, and
the music, and oh my God, and the fact that
and the performance. I think like my favorite Pacino performance is probably Dog Day Afternoon, but I think that scene is the best he ever is as Michael.
It's amazing. It's really amazing. He's doing so much just with his eyes. And you get Sterling Hayden in there as McCluskey, of course, the crooked Irish cop.
Oh, yeah.
And
all of Henry's nationalities represented well in this film.
Right. We have to wait till part 2 to start trashing yours when we get to Hyman Roth.
Sure. Hyman Roth. Jesus.
Yeah. The Irish, the mix.
Pacino did a great job as Shylock in The Merchant of Venice, by the way.
Of course.
What a wonderful representation of the Jews.
Oh, just amazing. Thank you, Shakespeare. And there's the great, just some of the dialogue, like when Tom Hagen goes down and first meets the producer, also a Jew, Waltz. They have to give him the name Waltz, of course. And he calls him a Dago guinea bastard or whatever.
Yeah.
And Tom Hagen goes, I'm German Irish, actually. And he goes, well, listen to me, my Kraut Mick friend.
Yeah, I laughed at that.
Oh, my God. Woo! But yeah, that sequence in the restaurant. And you know what's one thing I never remember?
What's that?
And I actually had to watch the scene again and change the subtitle variation. Is it not bizarre and maybe a stroke of genius that when they tell McCluskey, I'm going to speak to Michael in Italian, if you don't mind, that is not translated?
It can't be. No, I love that it's not.
Yeah. Okay, see, I just couldn't remember. I was like, do I have the wrong... it's just brilliant, right? I mean, we kind of don't know what they're saying, but you kind of do just from the body language.
Yeah. There's a lot of great stuff in that scene. I also like the moment because he's been given very strict instructions as soon as he shoots them to drop the gun.
Yes.
And I like that he takes a few steps out of the restaurant before he realizes he has to because he's in like a state of shock.
Right.
Yeah, I love that.
And he does not follow Clemenza's order about coming out of the restroom and just blowing them away. He sits back down, which makes it better, cinematically.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Brando? What about Brando, man?
I think
Overall,
he's excellent in this movie.
I have to say,
It's a performance that could really be a caricature, and Brando's almost doing everything in his power to make it a caricature.
You're right.
But because he's Marlon Brando, it comes across like he's just this like totally natural character who just happens to have weird puffy cheeks and an odd voice.
And I think that, and I did have this thought, and I think to a certain degree it is equal in terms of the adjective I'm going to use, which is absolutely mesmerizing. I was thinking about when I was watching it, how every scene in The Dark Knight where Heath Ledger is on screen, well, it just came to my mind.
He's got weird mouth chicks too.
That he does. Every scene, you know how we were going on about how every scene he's in, it's just his scene. And you can't take your eyes off him.
Yeah.
You want to. It's kind of the same in this movie with Brando.
It's like that in most Brando movies, man.
It's not for me, but fair enough. But it's not for me. But in this movie, you're watching. You'd want to know what he's going to say. All his words are chosen so carefully. Probably because you can't remember the lines. But,
no, come on. He delivers some really tight dialogue, man.
No, he does. He does.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I suppose Brando would be the one I'd want to talk about the most, just because the other guys we're all going to get a chance to talk to next week.
Yeah, true. Brando's great, but I mean, Pacino is fantastic in this movie, and I love his relationship with every individual character, including Vito. I like the scene where he like moves his hospital bed.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a nice tense little scene, and I love the way he plays that, where he's like trying to be polite to the nurse, but also like trying to hurry her up.
Yeah. And I always got a little bit touched by the sequence when he comes right after that, and he's coming down the hallway, and he hears footsteps. And he thinks it's a hitman, and it's I am Enzo, the baker. You remember me?
Yeah.
And it's like, and he's like, oh my god, Enzo, yeah, okay, you can help out. And it's like so moving, you know. And like Enzo, the old baker, comes out and he like pretends to be a gangster, and he can't light his cigarette afterwards because he's so nervous, you know. It's just
yeah, I love that.
Just amazing shit, you know, going on there.
It's a good movie.
It's great. There's really so much to get into. I mean, plot wise, I don't know that it's entirely necessary. It's more about us talking about.
Yeah, I can live without
atmosphere.
some of the complicated five families shit. When he gets back from Italy. The third act of this movie is easily my least favorite act of the movie, but I don't think it in any way brings the movie down for me.
Well, so here's the key question, and this is a good way to sort of wind down, which I still always pay attention to. I am firmly convinced. That it works, but I've heard people talk about this issue. Do you believe Michael's turn is long enough, convincing enough?
No.
Okay.
I'll be honest, and it's a no for me. It's a no for me, dog. I think in many ways The Godfather Part 2 justifies it, but I don't know. I think maybe the Italy sequence has to be more convincing to me or something.
Well, because like the turn
he's
is
so
almost
green.
earlier.
He's still so green after all of that, and it's just odd to me that he'd take control of the whole thing. I know he's got the family connection and shit, but I just feel like he'd be, I don't know. It's odd
more
that
reluctant.
He not even more reluctant. I think everyone else would be more reluctant to follow this fucking guy.
Yeah, you're right. There's that, and really his turn is when he agrees to kill the cop, you know, and the Turk, and that's an interesting sequence because when they're discussing all that, I love that sequence with Sonny and Tom Hagen and him are all trying to figure out how to do it. And it did occur to me that, you know, there's like a couple of lines about how Michael was in World War II. And that does give a little more.
He's wearing an army uniform in the wedding sequence.
Right. But they say, like, this isn't like shooting a guy 100 yards away and all that. But, you know, we don't know. And this is a lot of like audience work to do, honestly. But we don't know what he did in World War II. So, I mean, the guy could have been fucking fighting Nazis.
I feel like
on
he
the
was like a
front.
medic. This fucking
I
cuck.
don't get that impression.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, I do. He's a snowflake, bro. I feel like honestly the most convincing turn in the movie happens at the end when he lies to Kay. Because that's interesting to me. That's way more interesting than him deciding to kill a cop even. Just like the idea that he's about this. First of all, the sequence cross-cutting between the christening and the murders is brilliant and great and has been ripped off 1,000 times.
Oh yeah.
And the sequence at the very, very end where he tells Kay, like, everything's back to normal, we're great. And then, I mean, he lies to her just confidently, just straight up.
You can ask me about my business one time.
Right.
Yeah.
And he lies. And then she watches him be anointed Don. And he knows she's seeing this.
Yeah.
And so he lies to her face without even giving a shit that she's going to know the truth seconds later. And that, to me, is a more convincing turn for him to make than anything else.
Right. Well, the whole Kay relationship is something we'll talk about, I guess, more in the next one too. But it's really interesting. Also, you brought up earlier, like you didn't say what I thought you were going to say, which was that he goes to Sicily, and basically, he marries another woman.
Yeah.
So the timeline in this movie was something I struggled with my first.
Oh yeah.
few
By the
viewings.
end of the movie, he's got like grown kids with Kay.
Well, we've
Not
gone
grown,
over 10
but they're-
years. Yeah, it's from 45 to 55, and that is something I'm never a fan of if you have to put in front of the movie, New York, 1945. But I feel like
my favorite one is in Armageddon, at the beginning of Armageddon, when it says Earth 65 million years ago.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, the timelines in here are pretty jagged. They try to do a good job with different. It's just there's a lot of subtlety going on, and it might have also been budgetary stuff where they were just like trying to do some crisp editing to make the timeline a little clearer. But
Could be. Who knows?
Anyway.
But I don't know. Whatever. It works just fine. I do think the women in this movie are underwritten.
You usually do, though. That's one of your things.
Yeah, because women didn't start getting written well until like 10 years ago.
I think that's a little of an oversimplification, but
Come
I mean,
on,
for
man.
the most part,
I
you're
read
right.
I read Coppola
Yeah.
cast Diane Keaton because he had heard, quote, she was cute and quirky. That's Kay. He
No,
put a
you're
lot more
right.
thought into casting Michael. I'll tell you that
No,
much.
you're absolutely right. And Connie is just like a screaming, spoiled brat. She
And
doesn't do anything else.
Although I love the shit with get revenge on the husband.
It's fucking
and
great. Yeah.
The and the one in Italy is just a fucking model, like you said.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Still, this movie gets 5 stars, Henry.
There he goes. 5 stars, ladies and gents. MVP. Boy.
I'm going with Pacino.
Oh, okay. I had 2 that he wasn't in it. I'm gonna go with Brando.
Okay, I love it. Who was the other one you're thinking of?
Coppola. But
Oh,
I'm
well,
not gonna
fine.
do
Yeah.
that. I'm not gonna do that for a movie of this magnitude. That's too obvious. I'm gonna go with Brando. He's for me. He is.
Yeah, he's amazing.
All right. LVP.
Yep.
Jesus.
I got one.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Ooh. Is it Paulie? No. I don't know. Who?
I'll tell you right now. Listen, people aren't gonna like it. People aren't gonna like to hear it. James Caan isn't a very good actor.
You're fucking nuts. Really?
Yeah, sorry.
You didn't know who he was, though. Granted, right? First 45 minutes of the movie. So you thought Tough Guy Sonny was doing the lawyer deals down.
Yeah, I liked him more when I thought he was Robert Duvall.
Oh my God! So you don't like James Caan, huh?
He's fine. He's serviceable, but he's definitely the weak link in the main cast.
Interesting. I don't see a weak link in the main cast. Yeah. I don't have one, man. Off the top of my head, I'm sure it's one of the like lower hitmen, but I even like Luca Brasi. I mean,
I love Luca Brasi. Brasi's
fucking
better
great.
than Caan.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Because he's funny. Luca Brasi is played mostly as a comedy character.
Yeah.
And
that's
it's why it's extra shocking when he dies. He sleeps with the fishes. All right.
Yeah, it's true, man. We could have done that shit all night.
Sure.
All right, I got a 5 count on the
Superheroes?
Yeah.
Let's hear
There you
it.
go.
Oh, Marlon Brando as Jor-El.
There you go, number 1. Okay, you nailed that. The next 2 are pretty fucking funny because it's the same movie. They must be pals. James Caan in Dick Tracy.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember him in that.
No, I do. He was in Pacino's gang. Oh, and Pacino and Dick Tracy.
You just nailed the
Yeah,
next 2.
yeah.
There you go, Al Pacino. So 2 more to go. I believe something we covered had this guy in it, but Abe Vigoda,
Oh yeah.
Tessio, in the 1988 Superboy TV series,
Sure.
played the Mr. Wagner character.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know. He pushed Natalie Wood off a boat, I think.
Yeah.
And he is also in a movie we covered, playing Salvatore Valestra in Batman: Mask of the Phantasm.
That's right. Yeah, I remember.
And this is a good pull, I thought. Mo Green in the Vegas,
Yeah, with Fredo.
right. You don't buy me out, I buy you out. Which, by the way, is one of franchise guest Jan Martino's favorite lines to say. It always used to make me laugh. I'm Mo Green. I buy you out. You don't buy me out. That's
Did someone mention me?
Hey, Jan. Love you, buddy.
Love you too.
Number 5 is Mo Green was played by Alex Rocco, and he has 2 Batman credits to his name.
Let's hear him.
Yeah. One, he was in one episode of the 1966 TV series playing a character named Block.
All right, I want maybe a henchman of some sort.
No, it has to be.
Yeah.
It's Mo Green. And he was in the, I believe I saw this, the animated Batman movie Year One.
Oh, yeah.
He played Carmine Falcone.
Oh, how about that? Carmine. All right.
There you go.
All right, so next week we'll do 2 and 3, huh?
Yeah, next week we're gonna do 2 and 3. I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna buy the buy part 2 on Blu-ray, so I'm excited for that because I have the old terrible 2001 edition. So that is for nobody in particular but me killing time.